This is DD India. You are watching the Defense Dynamics and I am Danveer Singh from New Delhi. Why flagging off Indian Ocean Ship SAGAR has a huge strategic significance and what is Project Seabird? Why Prime Minister Modi's visit to Sri Lanka a comprehensive strategic reset? Why are the Indian Special Forces inducting electric motorcycles? And why Army Commanders Conference so vital? We'll discuss all this and much more in this episode, but before that, let's check the major global defense headlines. India is working on military space doctrine that will be brought out in 2 to 3 months. The Chief of Defence Staff, General Anil Chauhan, said this on Monday, amidst China continuing to develop weapons, direct ascent, anti-satellite missiles, co-orbital satellites and electronic warfare to contest or deny nations access to space. India's Ashok Leyland has inked a major deal with the Government of India worth over 7 billion rupees. That's approximately 81.7 million US dollars. The contract involves the supply of land mobility vehicles to the Indian Armed Forces. These vehicles will support troop transport, logistics and specialized mobility for countries' close-in weapon systems program. In a significant step towards green defense mobility, the Indian Ministry of Defence is in talks with Bangalore-based EV manufacturer Provag. The goal is to procure Veer, a new line of military-grade electric vehicles. These EVs are expected to meet Indian Army's need for light tactical transport with electric propulsion. The United States Navy is moving closer to replacing its aging T-45C Goshawk training aircraft. A request for proposal is expected by December 2025, with a contract award set for early 2027. The new system will emphasize advanced live, virtual and constructive or LVC training, and interestingly, it will no longer require carrier-based operations. A cutting-edge defense industry-backed directed energy weapon system is heading to the United States Army's Fire Center of Excellence later this year. Mounted on a Stryker vehicle, the system, developed by Blue Halo and integrated by Leonardo DRS, is now including enhanced capabilities. For the first time, it can fire multiple effectors simultaneously and even launch rockets during operations. And now over to the United Kingdom. The Royal Air Force has officially retired most of its early model Tranche 1 Eurofighter Typhoon jets. The drawdown, which began back in 2015, concluded this March the 31st. A small number of aircrafts, however, remain in service, designated to protect countries' South Atlantic territories. Tensions in the Indian Ocean are heating up, but not with warships clashing, but with quiet show of strength. China, as we know, has deepened its footprint across key ports, and India is charting a course of its own. This week, India's Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, flagged off a special naval mission, Indian Ocean Ship SAGAR, from Karnataka, reaffirming India's commitment to peace, free navigation and regional balance. In the vast blue expanse of the Indian Ocean, a quiet power struggle unfolds. At the heart of it is India's growing naval presence, a strategic counter to mounting Chinese influence in the region.
भारत जब इंडियन ओशन क्षेत्र में अपनी प्रेजेंस को बढ़ा रहा है, तो यह हमारे नेशनल इंटरेस्ट के साथ-साथ हमारे फ्रेंडली नेशंस की सुरक्षा को भी इनहांस कर रहा है.
This week, India's Defence Minister, Mr. Rajnath Singh, sounded a very clear message. The Indian Navy stands as a shield, ensuring no nation dominates the region with overwhelming might, suppresses another with its overwhelming military and economic might. Defence Minister Rajnath Singh said this against the backdrop of China's continuing strategic forays into the region. India's aim is to develop Indian Ocean region as a symbol of brotherhood and shared interests. With its navy ensuring the security of both Indian and foreign ships in the shared commitment for free navigation, rules-based order, peace and stability in the region, Mr. Singh said this while flagging off the maiden Indian Ocean ship IOS Sagar from the Karwar Naval Base in coastal Karnataka. As the maiden voyage of Indian Ocean ship SAGAR sets sail from Karwar Naval Base, India reaffirms its vision of brotherhood, cooperation and rules-based maritime order.
हमारी नेवी इंडियन ओशन रीजन में यह इंश्योर करती है कि कोई राष्ट्र अपनी ओवरवेलमिंग इकोनॉमी और मिलिट्री पावर के दम पर किसी दूसरे राष्ट्र को दबा न सके। भारत यह इंश्योर करता है कि इंडियन ओशन में किसी भी सॉवरेनिटी पर आंच आए बिना उनके इंटरेस्ट को प्रोटेक्ट किया जा सके।
The Indian Ocean region is more than a body of water. It's a global lifeline. Nearly 80% of global oil shipments pass through its sea lanes. From the Strait of Hormuz to Strait of Malacca, these waters carry the energy that fuels Asia's economies. It's also a growing arena of strategic competition, home to key military bases, deep-sea ports and undersea infrastructure. China's expanding footprint from Pakistan to East Africa has raised alarms in New Delhi. China's presence in the Indian Ocean has grown steadily over past decade. India sees this as a challenge to regional balance. Indian Ocean ship SAGAR is not just a warship, it's a peace ship. It carries India's goodwill and readiness to work with friendly nations across the region. SAGAR reflects India's commitment to peaceful maritime governance, free trade routes, and mutual prosperity. India's strategic community sees these developments as encroaching on its sphere of influence, promoting a renewed maritime strategy. India's response has been measured but firm. The commissioning of INS Vikrant marked a new chapter in homegrown maritime strength, but India's strategy is as much diplomatic as it is defensive. Through joint exercises and outreach programs, India promotes maritime cooperation under its SAGAR doctrine, that is, security and growth for all in the region. The launch of Indian Ocean ship SAGAR signals the next phase of India's naval outreach. The multi-role platform is designed for everything from humanitarian relief to joint patrols with friendly navies. Its journey begins in the waters of home, but its mission echoes across the ocean. Across the Indian Ocean, India's maritime outreach is gaining traction. Island nations and coastal partners see India as a reliable counterbalance to China's assertiveness. India's naval presence is stabilizing. Unlike China's debt-driven port deals, India focuses on mutual benefit and maritime cooperation. In an era of great power rivalry, India's steady hand in this region has become increasingly vital. From patrolling key sea lanes to building maritime partnerships, India's Navy is redefining presence in the Indian Ocean. The launch of Indian Ocean ship SAGAR is more than a mission. It's a message. In the waters where strategy and sovereignty meet, India sails forward as a guardian of peace, partnership, and shared prosperity. Indian Ocean ship SAGAR is a pioneering effort aimed at bringing together the navies and maritime agencies of the Southwest Indian Ocean region on the Indian naval platform. The mission will serve as an opportunity to provide comprehensive training to sea riders from friendly countries and mark an unprecedented collaboration in maritime security. INS Sukanya, during its deployment, will visit Dar es Salaam, Nakala, Port Louis, and Port Victoria. The international crew aboard will undertake training exercises and apply knowledge gained from various professional training schools at Kochi. The exercises and training planned include firefighting, damage control, visit, board, search and seizure, bridge operations, seamanship, engine room management, switchboard operations and boat handling. All of which will improve interoperability between the Indian Navy and its international partners. Indian Ocean Ship SAGAR will play a crucial role in shaping the future of the Indian Ocean region. With this mission, India once again reaffirms its commitment to building stronger ties with its maritime neighbors and working towards a safer, more inclusive, and secure maritime environment in the region. India's Defence Minister also inaugurated modern operational, repair and logistic facilities constructed under Project Seabird worth over rupees 2,000 crores. The facilities include marine infrastructuring designed for berthing ships, submarines and harbour crafts, an armament wharf, 2 piers specifically equipped for refit, marine utility complexes and residential infrastructure. These facilities will boost the sustenance of assets operating off the west coast and augment Indian Navy's efforts in maintaining a future-ready force. Tucked between the rugged hills of Western Ghats and Arabian Sea lies a cornerstone of India's maritime future. Project Seabird is India's largest and most ambitious naval-based development, located near Karwar in Karnataka. The first phase of Project Seabird was commissioned in May of year 2005, giving rise to what is now INS Kadamba, India's third largest naval base. With the ongoing expansion under Phase 2 Bravo, it is set to become the largest naval base in the Eastern Hemisphere. Today, the pride of Indian Navy, the aircraft carriers INS Vikramaditya and INS Vikrant are both based here. It's also home to India's first ever sea lift facility featuring a state-of-art ship lift and transfer system for vessels and submarines. The roots of the project trace back to the 1971 Indo-Pakistan War, when naval operations out of Mumbai were hampered by crowded commercial shipping lanes. After the war, the Navy began evaluating alternate sites to ensure strategic autonomy and operational flexibility. Several locations were considered: Thiruvananthapuram, Kannur, Toothukudi, but Karwar stood out. Its proximity to world's busiest sea lanes and naturally deep water harbour made it a perfect fit. The idea was championed by Admiral Oscar Stanley Dawson in early 1980s, but due to delays, including the 1991 economic crisis, construction took time to take off. Once launched, it became one of India's most strategically important naval facilities. Today, as India strengthens its presence across the Indian Ocean, Project Seabird stands as both a symbol and a shield, guarding national interests from shores of Karwar to the farthest corners of the sea. After completion of final phase of this project, INS Kadamba will be able to base 50 frontline warships and will be the biggest naval base east of Suez Canal. In a landmark visit, the Indian Prime Minister Mr. Narendra Modi arrived in Colombo for his 4th and longest visit yet to the island nation since his first in 2019. This high-profile trip was not only about renewing ties but resetting the strategic relationship between the two neighbors. One of the major outcomes of this visit were the signing of 7 key agreements across defense, energy, digital infrastructure, health and trade. A highlight is the first ever 5-year defense cooperation agreement, which includes the training of Sri Lankan military personnel in India and increased information and technology sharing. This defense pact is particularly historic. It marks the first such agreement since India's military involvement in Sri Lanka during the late 1980s through the Indian Peacekeeping Force, the IPKF, which operated between 1987 to year 1990. At the joint press briefing, Sri Lankan President Anura Kumara Dashanayaka reaffirmed Colombo's strategic alignment with New Delhi.
Recognition also at the leadership level that the security interests of India and Sri Lanka are interlinked. Both leaders made this point emphatically today.
I reaffirmed Sri Lanka's stance that it will not permit its territory to be used in any manner inimical to the security of India as well as towards regional stability.
The Indian Prime Minister Mr. Modi's visit underscores India's strategic commitment to deepening ties with Sri Lanka, especially at a time of rising concerns over China's growing footprint in the Indian Ocean region. By engaging in high-level dialogues and signing a suite of critical agreements, India aims to reinforce its influence and promote regional stability, counterbalancing Beijing's expanding military and economic presence. At the heart of this visit was a landmark defense cooperation pact, a first since the Indian peacekeeping forces operations in the 1980s. The agreement focuses on maritime security, joint military exercises, and the sharing of defense assets, a clear move to bolster Sri Lanka's defense capabilities and mitigate China's influence in the region. Another major highlight was energy collaboration. India, in partnership with United Arab Emirates, will develop an energy hub in Trincomalee. Plans include a multi-product pipeline and exploration of existing fuel tank farms, strengthening India's foothold in Sri Lanka's energy infrastructure and offering a viable alternative to Chinese investments, such as Sinopec's refinery in Hambantota. On the economic front, India reaffirmed its role as a steadfast partner in Sri Lanka's recovery. Having already extended nearly $4 billion in aid, New Delhi continues to support debt restructuring efforts and long-term financial cooperation, thus solidifying its presence as both regional power and economic ally. In summary, Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit represents a comprehensive strategic reset, enhancing bilateral ties, countering external pressures, and building long-term economic and defense cooperation. The outcomes are expected to have a lasting impact on geopolitical dynamics of the Indian Ocean region.
In a major tech-forward move, the Indian Special Forces are set to integrate electric motorcycles and electric manned UAVs into their operations. These next-gen electric vehicles offer key advantages. They reduce the noise, lower heat signatures, and are less dependent on fossil fuels, thus making them ideal for stealth and high-mobility missions in rugged or remote terrains. The introduction of electric manned UAVs, a new hybrid of drone and aircraft, opens up possibilities for reconnaissance, rapid deployment, and engagement, all with quieter and more energy-efficient edge. This makes a significant step towards greener, smarter warfare, blending cutting-edge technology with strategic capabilities.
In a significant leap towards modernizing combat readiness, the Indian Special Forces are moving to adapt electric motorcycles and electric manned UAVs, a move that signals a deeper shift towards stealth, sustainability, and self-reliance in military operations. These electric platforms offer crucial advantages with low noise, minimal heat signatures, and reduced dependence on fossil fuels, thus making them ideal for stealth operations in rugged and high-altitude terrains like Ladakh or the Northeast, where India's elite units often operate. This development aligns with global trends in military modernization, but for India, it's also a strategic necessity, especially along its sensitive borders like the line of control with Pakistan and line of actual control with China, where stealth and speed can determine mission success. India has been ramping up investments in indigenous defense technology, including UAVs designed for long-range surveillance and precision strike. Contracts with domestic firms like IG Drones reflect a clear push under Atmanirbhar Bharat initiative, an Indian drive towards defense self-reliance. The switch to electric and locally developed systems also address security concerns, especially after early revelations of Chinese components in imported drones, which sparked fears towards cyber vulnerabilities and electronic espionage. But while the move is bold, it comes with challenges. Electric motorcycles may struggle with battery life in extreme cold, and charging infrastructure in remote zones is still a logistical puzzle. And when it comes to electric manned UAVs,
questions remain. Traditional UAVs are unmanned by design, so are we looking at small piloted aircraft or hybrid drones with dual-use capabilities? Either way, they will need to withstand electronic warfare threats, especially from adversaries like China and Pakistan. The move also appears to be a direct countermeasure to regional threats, with China deploying high-end drones and Pakistan using UAVs to cross-border surveillance and smuggling. India's focus on tech-enhanced special forces is a strategic recalibration. Recent additions like Nagastra-1, a kamikaze drone, and Sabal-20 logistics drone showcases India's commitment to precision and tactical flexibility, thus combining efficiency with battlefield innovation. And there may be a diplomatic layer too, embracing green warfare. India's image as a responsible global player, aligning military advancements with environmental consciousness. But on the battlefield, results matter more than optics. Whether these electric systems can deliver the reliability and reliance the Special Forces demand in real-world scenario remains to be seen. But if successful, India could set a new global benchmark where eco-conscious technology meets elite combat performance. Electric efficient and increasingly indigenized, India's special forces may be stepping into the future, a quiet revolution at a time.
The Army Commanders Conference is a biannual feature of the top leadership of three services. Recently, the top generals of the Indian Army gathered for one of its most important strategic events this year, the Army Commanders Conference 2025. It was held at the Army headquarters from April 1st to the 4th. So you may ask, why is this held? What is the significance of such a conference? Take a look at this report.
The Army Commanders Conference, a biannual apex-level meeting, brings together the senior-most leadership of the Indian Army over the course of 4 days. The commanders deliberate on a wide range of security and strategic issues, from border management and internal security to force modernization, organizational restructuring, and the impact of global developments. The highlight of Day 3 was an address by India's Defence Minister Mr. Rajnath Singh following a key presentation on the Army's Year of Reforms. The Defence Minister lauded the Indian Army's contribution to nation building and its ability to operate across domains, from security to disaster response, medical assistance, and internal stability. Amidst an evolving global security environment, Mr. Rajnath Singh urged the Army to adapt to emerging threats, including unconventional and hybrid warfare. He emphasized the importance of integrating cyber, communication, finance, and information domains in future military strategies. On the situation along the northern borders, Defence Minister expressed full confidence in troops for maintaining firm vigil. He praised the Border Roads Organization for improving connectivity under tough conditions. On the Western Front, Mr. Rajnath Singh noted the continued threat of proxy war, but commended the Army's response to cross-border terrorism and an excellent synergy with Central Armed Police Force and the State Police Forces of Jammu and Kashmir. The Defence Minister saluted the courage of India's soldiers and reiterated government's commitment to supporting veterans and families of battle casualties. Highlighting the role of defence diplomacy, he also called for restoration of defence attaches' role to further national interest through global military cooperation. Praising the Indian Army's push for modernization through indigenization, the Defence Minister applauded the collaboration with civil industry, academic institutions in developing niche and cutting-edge technologies. He endorsed the ongoing interface with Niti Aayog to align defence growth with Viksit Bharat vision. In his closing remarks, the Defence Minister stressed the need for doctrinal shift to make the armed forces future ready and urged the Army leadership to take every recommendation from the conference to logical conclusion with periodic reviews.
The message is clear. India's military leadership is not only responding to today's threat, but also shaping the army for tomorrow. The Army Commanders Conference of 2025 is not just a review of the present, it's vision setting the moment for the future of India's defense. With this, we come to the end of this episode. See you next week with new stories and their analysis. Thanks for watching, and do post your comments on social media with #DD with Danveer. Goodbye and take care.